Welcome to the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast with your host, Mike Campion. If you are passionate about the cleaning industry, you are in the right place. Love what you hear? Spread the word and tell the cleaning world this is the place to be. Want more? Check out www.growmycleaningcompany.com for free online video trainings, free ebook downloads, free blog posts, and of course, all the podcast episodes. Everything you need to grow your cleaning company is at www.growmycleaningcompany.com. And now, on with the show.
Hello, Cleaning Nation. So glad to be with you again. Welcome to the place to get everything you need to have the cleaning company that you've always wanted, the cleaning company that you deserve. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, if you've got questions for me or would like to hire me to speak at your next event, you can email our producer, Natalie, at growmycleaningcompany.com, or just give us a call directly at 480-648-5149. One of our favorite things is hearing from you, Cleaning Nation. Today, we are chatting with Paul Lucero from the Pros Commercial Cleaning. The Pros Commercial serves the Albuquerque area with commercial cleaning, window washing, power washing, carpet cleaning, recycling services, even day porter stuff. If you want to reach out to Paul and his team, you get a hold of them at www.yourprocleaner.com. Paul, welcome to the show. Tell us about how you got in the cleaning business.
Hey, Mike. I'm happy to be on the show. I love the show. It's by far the best podcast I have on my phone.
My new best friend, Paul. Preach it, brother.
I just had to plug your show a little bit. So how did I get started in the cleaning business? Well, I am actually a full-time student. I'm working on my master's degree in accounting. And while I was in my undergrad, a fellow student had a cleaning business, and he loved it. He always had such, always was trying to get me involved and, try to get me to partner up with him. I never did, and he actually sold his cleaning business and got out of the business. But it's the more I started researching the cleaning business, the more passionate I got about it, and kind of led me down the path. Now here I am with my business.
Beautiful. And how did you find Cleaning Nation?
I was just doing some searches. I'm one of those people that become obsessed with finding every detail I can, answering every question. Typed in, I don't even remember the question, but you popped up. I started watching your YouTube videos and subscribed to the podcast, and it's all history from there.
And I'm assuming at some point you said, man, this guy is super good looking. I want to subscribe to everything he does. Or did I just make that up? Don't answer that. Let me just go to bed thinking that's why people come.
Wasn't my first thought, but
I don't
okay,
know. I
Mike.
can see you, man. I don't think that's it. All right, awesome. So what I hear you saying is you are a full-time student. You're in your undergrad, working on your master's. You've got a cleaning business to kind of pay some bills and get some experience while that happens. Is that all? Am I tracking what you're saying?
You're tracking it right.
All right. Well, shoot, let's talk about who would not want to help a starving college student, man. How can I help you today?
Well, I've taken a lot of time and effort to create processes for my business. Just being a full-time college student, I'm pulled away a lot. I have a lot of, things going on, a lot of juggling, a lot of things, life in general. So I created a lot of automated processes. One I am having trouble with is the sales process. So, when customers come to me looking for bids and things like that, even generating, generating sales like cold calling customers, I'm having a tough time automating that process. I don't know what the best route to take, if I should outsource. I don't know if I'm big enough to hire a full-time salesperson, but I'm just looking for some help in that area.
Okay. So I don't want to say land on a couple laws, but let me build a little bit of foundation, not just for you, but for Cleaning Nation, and then we'll answer your questions. So first of all, I heard you really asking two questions. One, how do I get people to come to me? Like, how do I get customers to be aware of me or come to me or ask for a bid? The way I would define that is marketing. The second is once I've got someone coming to me saying, hey, Paul, give me a bid. Tell me what it would look like for us to work together. That would be sales. I'll make sure I put in the show notes page. So we've done so many episodes on marketing and lots of this. So I'll make sure I include 1 or 2 or even 3 of some of the better episodes, or that would be most applicable to what you're talking about on the marketing side, how to automate getting interested people coming to you. So I'll include that on the show notes page. So Cleaning Nation can get that. And Paul, you can check those out off air and not just, kind of not have that resource. What I would like to talk about today is the piece of once they've come to you, whether it's automated or not, once they come to you, what that process looks like to convert them from an interested party to a buyer, and with the caveat of you don't have a lot of time to do that yourself personally. Is that a fair? Will that help? Will that get you where you need to go?
Yeah, and I may have misspoke, Mike. It is the sales process that I'm looking for, so you're exactly right.
Okay, cool. So again, for everyone out there wanting to know how to get customers to come to you, including Paul, check out the show notes page for a link or a couple links to a podcast that'll do that. But if you want to learn how to automate the sales process, actually turning leads into customers, you're in the right spot. We're going to go through that right now. So Paul, a couple questions first, and then we'll figure out how to get you sorted. What do you do now? How many customers, how many requests like this do you get, and how do you handle them currently?
I'm roughly getting about 2 or 3 appointments a week.
Requests for appointments or appointments?
Requests for appointments.
Okay. And you are commercial exclusively?
Yes, commercial.
Okay. So little caveat here. Some of the feedback I'm going to give Paul isn't as applicable. I'll try and kind of give feedback for residential and commercial because they are a little bit of a different of an answer. Residential, it's just different a kettle of fish. Usually residential is going to have a higher request. You'll have more appointments to go on, and they'll need less information because it's more of a cut and dry. The price is generally going to be between $200 and $300 a month. Commercial could be anywhere from a couple $100 a month to tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they have different needs. So it's a little hard. It's a little easier to automate the residential process than the commercial. So let's talk about the commercial because that's the hard one. So you get 2 or 3 appointments per week now, and are you just kind of fitting them in with your schedule? Are they nights and weekends during the day? Specifically, how do you handle those?
It's been trying to squeeze them in my schedule. And sometimes, it is difficult because I try to be, of course, when somebody calls you and they want possibility for, being hired for a job, you don't want to tell them that you can't make the appointment. So that it's difficult for me.
Okay, so right now you're just fitting them in when you can. It's 2 or 3 appointments a week. It's doable, but not ideal. Is that all fair?
Correct.
Okay. What's your average? You're only commercial. What's your average customer size in terms of per month? $200, $2,000? Just give me an idea.
It varies. When I first started, it was pretty low, but now we're getting larger clients.
Well, of the 2 or 3 inquiries, what's the average monthly bid that you would give of the 2 or 3 inquiries per week? So today, not what you used to do, but today, what's an average? And again, I don't need to the dollar. Is it $100, $500, $1,000, $3,000? Just give me in the ballpark.
Roughly 500.
Okay, so about $500 per month. Okay. That said, you don't. How long have you been in business?
A year.
A year. Okay. Have you kept most of your customers the entire time?
Yes, we have.
Okay. So let's assume the average customer is going to stay a year. If you do a good job, it should be actually quite a bit longer than that. But just to be conservative, let's assume your average customer stays a year. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. So that means $500 times 12 months. That's $6,000. You with me on the math?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Figure, and again, some are going to be much more, some are going to be much less, but just to make math easy, let's assume half of that you got to pay to get the work done, right? You don't get to keep that. You have to actually pay to have the cleaner out there. So of that $6,000, you only get $3,000. Is that all stand to reason on the math so far?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Let's assume that whole sales process takes you tell me, 2-3 hours?
Yeah, that's a good estimate.
Let's call it 3 hours. It shouldn't take that long, but let's just say it's a long way away and you have to talk to them a couple times and call them back 3 or 4 times. The whole thing takes 3 hours. If you're making $3,000, that's $1,000 an hour. So that's pretty high wage stuff. Fair?
That's fair.
Okay. So not to say that we can't automate it. I just want to be clear when we're automating something, we know what the value is to us in our company. So if you automate answering the phone, it's like, well, what's that worth? And it's probably $10 an hour work, right? Or automate or systematize or sub out somebody else doing the work. Well, that's $10 or $15 an hour work. That's how it is. Selling, based on the numbers that you've given me, is closer to $1,000 an hour work. So we want to be real careful when we sub that out, going, well, shoot, if I'm only going to invest, here's maybe a better question. How many hours a week would you like to invest in your company, Paul?
In this process specifically, or overall?
The whole company. If I had your whole time per week, how many hours?
10 hours.
Okay. So right now, if you spent all 10 hours doing just this, you probably wouldn't get hurt too bad. Obviously, there's some fires that you've got to put out and things like that. But generally, I just want you to understand those are lower level processes. So when you're looking for things to systematize or get off of your plate, you want the lower dollar things off first and the higher dollar things off second. So just keep that in mind as we talk about how to systematize it. I'm not saying I'm not going to help you. I just want you to understand, again, this wouldn't be the first, second, or third thing I'd get off my plate. I'd get things like paying bills, buying supplies, dealing with cleaners, cleaning the office if you've got an office, all that, building logos, all that nonsense. I'd put that off your plate first, and then very last, I would remove the going on appointments. Let me give you a way to still go on appointments, but go on fewer appointments and have it make you even more than $1,000 an hour. Then we'll talk about what it would look like to just eliminate you going on appointments altogether. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Okay. So first and foremost, you made a point that I wanted to go back to because it's key, and I would agree with part of it, and I think I might disagree with another part. What you said was, hey, when people call in for a bid and they want you to give them a bid or do business with you, you want to go out there right away. You don't want to be like, I can't make it, or, can you do it 2 weeks from Tuesday? I get that. Certainly, we don't want our good customers, and that's the key, our good customers, we want to take care of them, and if that means we move stuff around, then by golly, we move stuff around. Where we can get bit is we'll start inadvertently treating all customers the same. Some customers will call in and they go, well, I don't know. I've just got this little space and our budget's only $112 a month plus a button. And we don't know. And we're not sure. And we're going to buy in a year or two. We don't know. That guy or gal is not someone we're going to move your schedule around to go on and handle, right? That's okay if he doesn't get, he may or may not be your perfect customer. And you got to identify this, and this is beyond the scope of this particular podcast, but you certainly, as part of this process, want to start grading your customers in terms of like red, yellow, green. Red means you don't do it, right? You said you only do commercials. So if I call and say, hey, Paul, can I get your people out here to clean my house? That's easy. Red. No, we don't do house cleaning. I can't help you. Then you want yellow, which is like, well, yeah, we want those persons, but we're not really going to go chasing them, and they're not ideal. But if they just sign up and give us money, we'll take their money, but that's not who we want. And then green is, yes, this is who we're going to spend all of our time and effort on. And you can define that a lot of ways. You can define it by frequency. I only want 3 times a week or 5 times a week. You can do that by type of building. I only want restaurants, or I don't want restaurants. I only want childcare, or I don't want childcare, or medical, or, there's an infinite list of types of buildings that you want to service. You can do it by dollar amount, right? Hey, we want $1,000 a month to be our average, and we're too small. I don't want anything over about $2,500 a month, or square footage, or whatever. So once you identify that, you want to start treating different customers differently. So red customers are easy. You don't need a process for that other than to say, hey, I don't think we're a good fit. Maybe you've got a residential company locally that you deal with that you can refer them to, but that's the end of that. The yellow customers, you might be more open to automating or doing some of the things I'm going to talk about, so it doesn't take as much of your time. And if they buy, great. If they don't, great. That's that. And then green customers, you're going to make more of an exception and say, hey, if I need to spend more time and money on these people because they're my perfect target customer, this is exactly who I want, I'm going to do it. Any questions or thoughts on that so far?
No, makes sense.
Okay. So let's say worst case or best case, depending on how you look at it, you have 3 appointments per week times 4 weeks. That's 12, 4.3. It's really 13 appointments a month. Of those 13 appointments a month, how many would you say are your perfect ideal customer or prospect at the point?
2.
Okay. So the coaching I would give you personally, I'm still going to tell you how to eliminate it entirely, but the coaching I would give you personally is make a way to go on those 2 appointments. Do not go on, don't go on the other 10. So that's probably the best way to eliminate the low-hanging fruit of try and systematize or have someone else go on the other 10 or nobody, right? The system could be your residential, we're not interested, pass. And then just you focus all of your time. Would that solve your problem if like, hey, I'm just going to go on these 2 appointments per month, but I don't mind going on them because these are perfect ideal customers and they're worth my time, even with all the other stuff I have going on.
Yeah. Okay.
That
makes sense, and that would work perfectly.
Okay, so I'm going to continue just in case for other people out there that's not their situation. And this may also help you. But my coaching to you would be, if that's the case, find out a way to systematize or automate the 10 or 11, but not the 2. The 2 that are the money, you do those. All right. That said, the only 2 ways to fix the rest of it. Say you're like, well, they're all my appointments, and I want to go on them. But what do I do with those other 11? The answer is you can systematize it, or you can automate it. Automate it, I don't like. You can kind of get away with it in residential. I'm still not a fan of it, where it's like, oh, we just know we can do it over the phone, and we just email you a bid, and it's all automated. Nobody ever meets everybody. That's handy because when you start getting 2 or 3 of these a day, and you're at that, well, do I do a full-time salesperson, or do I go myself? Or it's just so much easier to automate it. In the residential, you can get away with it. I still don't coach on it because the math is still similar. You're making hundreds of dollars an hour. And a lot of times I've got owners going, I don't have time to go sign this contract that the lifetime value is going to be $5,000 on because I've got to order rags, right? That's insane. So with the residential, you can automate it, but I don't recommend it. With the commercial, you really can't automate it. Maybe I shouldn't say can't. I don't know of any effective ways to automate that. It's got to be belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball. So for you specifically, Paul, step 1 is to make sure you're only going on the absolute premium green accounts that are worth your time. But if you can't do that, then you have to pay another human being. So when you say, do I need to hire a full-time salesperson? I don't know about that. But yes, for commercial, long story short, I would always send a human. Ideally, that human's going to be you until your company's maybe 3, 4, 5 million, then you can maybe do something different. But in the stages that you're at, I would like to see that human being be you. If it's not going to be you, no, I don't know any person that's going to consider it full-time employment to go on 13 appointments per month, right? And you can't even afford to go on them, especially if 11 of them are no good and only 2 of them are your premium. So you're probably going to, again, I don't have any way to automate it for the commercial and just say, hey, let me just email you a bid, or let's just do all this virtually. I don't think you'll have success with that. I've not seen that done successfully anywhere. You can hire somebody, but it might be a part-time, or it's going to have to be a part-time gig where it's extra income for them. And you're really going to have to create a system or a process for the 2 of you that works for his schedule and your schedule. And you're going to have to I'd pay him commission only. I'd give standards, like you have to close X amount of these jobs, right? If you're not closing any, then he's costing you money. Even if it doesn't cost you money because he's not closing anything, you're not paying him. Well, if you have 12 appointments a month that are supposed to turn into $1,000 a month of revenue, and he turns it into no revenue, that's costing you a ton of money. So make sure you have parameters in terms of you have to get back with them within 24 hours. You have to provide them a bid within 24 hours. You have to close at least 25%. I'm making all these up, but you got to provide parameters, and then you just pay them per sale. So the overview of what I'm telling you is do just the 2 that are good, and then systematize the rest. For the rest, I don't know of any way to automate it without a human. No, it's not a full-time human. It's a part-time human that you just make an agreement with that's commission only. And ideally, he takes care of the 11 that aren't your best. You take care of the 2 that are. And that's how it moves until your situation changes, either with your business or your schooling. Thoughts, questions, comments before we move on?
No, thanks. Perfect.
All right, perfect. I left you speechless. I don't know if that's bad or good, but we're running out of time, so we're going to hit the lightning round, my friend. 3 quick questions. You're going to give me 3 amazing answers. Question number 1, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice is you never stop prospecting. You never stop looking for more business for any reason, because you never know when that faucet's going to turn off.
You are not kidding, my friend. And the way I would say that is never stop marketing. So many people run from, oh my gosh, I've got too many customers, turn off the marketing and turn all my focus on onboarding these customers. And then they do that for a month or 2 and like, oh my gosh, I don't have any leads. We're broke. I got to go get customers. And they run and do that the trick is to continue doing all the important processes in your business all the time, not on, off. Great feedback. Question 2, what's the biggest mistake you've made in the cleaning business that we here at Cleaning Nation can learn from?
Is really overthinking. People tend to overthink. They get lost in analysis. paralysis of analysis. It's best just to get out there and do it, and you learn on the fly, because that's really the only time that you're going to learn more lessons doing it that way than trying to actually try to understand everything before you do it. So my lesson, or one mistake I made, was I overthink a lot of things, and I'm just not responsive. I'm, tend to get lost in the weeds.
The way I would put that is you cannot steer a parked car. So stop, put her into drive and get going.
That's a good one.
You feel free to steal it, use it for you, my friend. Last question. What's one idea that Cleaning Nation can put into practice today before their head hits the pillow that will improve their lives or their business?
Is really having processes in place, especially if you're involving if other people are part of your business, you hire staff, you always have to have processes in place. Even though you can think outside the box, your staff needs to know how to respond to certain things. So really, having those processes in place will make your life so much easier.
Yeah, if you want to be a slave to your business, don't put any processes and answer all the questions yourself. If you would like at some point the business to run without you, Paul is 1,000% correct. Process. Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your passion and your desire to grow. I appreciate you. I know the Cleaning Nation appreciates you. Cleaning Nation, if you want to check out Paul's show notes page, get those links I'd mentioned, and discover everything you need to grow your cleaning company, it is all at www.growmycleaningcompany.com. Leave your questions, your comments, your rude remarks. I will see you there.
Congratulations! You are now 16% smarter. Still can't get enough cleaning goodness? Go to www.growmycleaningcompany.com for more of the good stuff. Ever want to be rich and famous? Owners of cleaning companies, as well as industry experts, can apply to be featured on the show by emailing our producer Natalie at support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Until then, don't miss out on all the latest cleaning industry lovin' at www.growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out now.